In today's video, I'm going to share with you one of my absolute favorite sketch boxes. It is one that you get to curate yourself. This is a build your own sketch box that I created. If you're interested in doing one of these, you can go to shopsketch.com and create your own sketch box. You can choose up to 7 items that you get to put in your very own box. So let's take a look inside and see what I chose for my sketch box. The first item I chose is this round watercolor block. This is by it's the Toscana by Magnani 1404. I love this little block. 100% cotton, 140-pound watercolor paper. It has a little opening here. It's a block, so it has a little opening here that you would slide, a little palette knife or something into to remove each sheet, but just a little round watercolor block. So I definitely wanted to give that a try. I got the Kuretake watercolors, and it shows you the colors that are in there. Then, of course, when I first ordered this, I hadn't got my silver white brushes in, and I knew I wanted to try them. This is a 1/2-inch stroke, which of course I have already tried. So when I use, when I'm creating with this box, I'm just going to use the one I've already opened, and I'm going to save this one. I'm definitely not disappointed that I now have 2 of them. I love that brush. And this one was a SketchBox signature, and it is a wedge. It's like triangular shaped. I'll show you that in more detail in a minute when we open it. So I got that brush. I also grabbed a Caran d'Ache water brush, and you fill it up and then you squeeze here to get the water to come out through the brush. I thought that would be handy to take with me when I go out. And then there was the tinted charcoal pan set by Derwent. Now, it's not the whole thing. It has half the amount of pans that you would get if you got the palette from Derwent. But I thought this was more than enough to go ahead and give this a try and see if I liked them. And I also ordered, let me get this out of here. This is also by Derwent and made for SketchBox, and it has the Derwent sketching. These are the aquarelle type, the water-soluble graphite pencils, and then these are a few colors of graphitin. So I grabbed this box. Those were the items that I chose, and I'm excited about this. So let me get this stuff open and we'll see if we can't create something with these. All right, so I've got everything opened except for my little pad here. And let's see. So I'm going to get this in there. Just get that cover off. There we go. And there we are. So I'm going to save this. I want to first test my colors. I just grabbed a scrap piece of watercolor paper, and this is from the Bee Paper Company, the Bee Inspired paper. And so first, let's just test these out. So these are our. This one says Onyx Dark. So I'm just going to make my marks with them. And then I'll add some water and we'll see what they do. Now that one, I don't know if that one moves because it doesn't have the brush mark on it. So this one may be for like line work that you want to keep in place. We'll find out in just a moment. So this one says light. And this one is a dark wash. Let's just look at those real quick. Yeah, okay, as expected, that one doesn't really move. Where you see that definitely does. There's the light. And look at that dark. Look at how smoothly that just, oh, I like it. I like it. So lines that we want to keep, we would use the one with the green band that says dark, the onyx. We would use that pencil for line work that we want to keep or to show through. You can look at. So this is the slate green graphitin. This one is sage. And then we have white. So what I'll do is I'll wait till I get some color on here that dries, and we'll go over it with white and see just what we get. So there's our graphitin pencil in the slate green. Then we have the sage. There we go. Okay, so now let's check out our tinted charcoal. I'm just going to do these in the same order that they are and just make little swatches right here. So right now, this is my 1/2 inch stroke from Silver White, which is made by Silver Brush. I love these. I bought a whole set of them, which you know if you've been watching the channel. There's my 10 round. They're just, I don't care. They don't care for them as much as I like my Silver Black Velvet brushes by Silver Brush, but I definitely like them. If you like a brush that has some snap to it, really holds its point, these might be a good brush for you. It's a pretty color. It's almost got like a almost has a deep like plum look to it. That's a beautiful blue. So the first one looked a little green. Then the next one looks a little plum. Well, that one also has some purple-like values to it. Could be in the brown family. And that, which is white by the looks, seemed to have, let's go right over this. Yeah. Mine was a little, it had like dust from the other ones on it, so it didn't look like it was quite white, but that one is the white for sure. I could see that being very helpful to go on top, putting highlights after the fact, where you wanted to highlight, but perhaps for it to still stay matte looking, because these dry very matte. Ooh, that is definitely looks purple. I love these colors. I love these colors. All right. So far, all of these have a very matte finish to them. Now let's look at our white pencil here in comparison. If I come back, well, that's probably still wet. It's almost dry. I'm gonna come over it. I don't think it's going to show up. Yeah, it's not. It's just reactivating the color below. But it could be useful for some mark making. We'd have to see if it showed up, but the paper would have to be dry. Okay. I like the stroke brush, but then I knew I liked the stroke brush. Let's check out this brush. Can you see this one? So this is the getsketchbox.com, and this is the wedge, if I can get that to focus for you. So their signature line of brushes, this is the wedge, and it's Does it say an 8 or an S? But you see the shape? It's triangular, which I thought was just really neat. And not only is it triangular, but it's like longer on one side than it is on the other. So I was very excited to give this one a try and see what kind of marks we can make with that. But this would make some interesting looking marks. All right, so let's check out our Karatake colors. And I'm just going to go right in and use this brush. Let's give it a try. This is definitely going to give you some unique lines. I think when the colors are dry, it's not as easy to go into them with that. I did fill my Caran d'Ache brush, but I'm going to save that for when we paint. I just want to quickly swatch the colors out. So moving back to my stroke, because I think it will definitely let us do that much faster. You guys can't really see that palette. There you go. It's a nice green. Got a few greens here in a row. More of like an olive green. A teal and olive green, and this definitely looks more like a turquoise. And of course, the names of the colors are on the underneath side, so I'm just saying what it looks like to me. I like that blue. I'm gonna have to check these against my other 2 Karatake palettes that I've gotten recently and see if these are 12 colors I didn't have. That would be wonderful. I'm not sure how long this little palette will last, but it'd be great. This would be a great little palette to take on the go, especially with the Caran d'Ache water brush. Just do some watercolor sketching, little tiny paintings in like my sketchbook. I have another outing planned here this week. I'm going plein air painting. I'm really looking forward to that. I might have to just take these with me. And then of course this, it looks like a silver. And let's see, I'll put some over that. You can see how it dries. Because it's not really showing up very great on its own on the white paper, but I'm pretty sure that it's more like silver versus white. I think it might have some shimmer to it. Okay, so I could easily set this side like on top of a white piece of paper. Just take a scrap piece of paper and put it there. And then I'd have a, white spot underneath, and I could actually mix right here. So I like that. Okay. And there's no way, well, I guess I could if I don't put my fingers in the paint. That feels like I could get that to slide out if I wanted to try to get at the colors to take them out and be able to look at it. But now that I have this, that's fine. That's going to be more than enough. So there are the colors. And I'm going to set this aside so that I can see it. And let's paint something. Okay, I decided that what I'm going to do is maybe a little floral with a dragonfly on it. So I started to sketch in my dragonfly. I'm going to use the Caran d'Ache water brush. And so I just grabbed an old rag so I can clean my brush off when I need to. I started by sketching the dragonfly in my light wash because I want those lines to kind of disappear and just blend in with my colors. However, the wings and the veining I did with my onyx because I'm going to want the veining to stay. And I will just bring that up. And there was no reference photo. I just sketched him. And there you can see my little dragonfly that's sketched out. And so now let's go ahead and just put in some really loose florals and just see what we get. So to start, my brush is wet. Just gonna make sure that if there was any like sizing or anything that would keep the bristle stiff, that it's cleaned out. I'm just wiping that off on my cloth. Okay. I was going to grab water and I'm like, wait a minute, it's a water brush. All I gotta do is squeeze it. Now I want to clean that off. You just take your brush and wipe it off on your towel. And there you go. It's clean. I don't have to dip it in water. All right. I'm going to mix up. I'm going to take a little bit of this red. And I'm just going to mix on the lid. I'm going to come back into actually the like silvery color. Not quite white. I'm going to mix this in. Just going to get a little bit of that. And then I'm going to grab just a touch of that blue. There we go. Perfect. And of course it beads terribly on this little lid, but it still allowed me to mix it. I don't mind if it bleeds a little bit. It's fine. I do have a lot of water in there, in that center. Now, if I want to stop that, I could grab, this is really wet, but I think if I took, say, this brush that was nice and dry, I would come in here, just grab a little bit of that water. There we go. And I'm actually going to drop in, I'm going to take a little bit of this, and just a smidgen of black to, there we are. And then just kind of drop this in at the base. Now, if this dark color goes into some of my petals, that's perfectly okay with me. I don't, the point on this is fantastic for doing like the little edges. And I'm just going to put some dots. Just kind of let those blend. There we go. Going back to the color that I mixed up for my petals. Almost reached into the wrong spot. I just recently painted a purple coneflower. That was fun. And I thought afterwards, oh, if I would have added a little bee or a little dragonfly, that would have been good. Thinking maybe we can see part of that stem through these petals. There we go. Right, so now our dragonfly. Let's see how he works with some of our other, we did our flower with the watercolors. I'm going to use the tinted charcoal and use some of that to create our dragonfly so that we've used all of the supplies in the box. All right, for the eyes, let's go ahead and give him some blue eyes. Why not? And maybe I recently saw a dragonfly and it had these like blue and green spots down its body. Now I want to I want this to be a lighter value where you see through the wings so that it's looking more subtle. Or, you know, the wings have like dulled the color some because you're looking through the transparent wing. There we go. And then I'm going to take some of the green and give them some green spots too. Which these are much darker. And I'm going to give that a quick dry because then his body, I'm going to want to come back through with the sage. I want to do his body in the sage. So let me give this a quick dry with the heat tool and we'll continue. I'm going to slide this out of my way for a minute or I'll stick my hand right in it. Now I'm not going to color in the part that's under the wing because I think for that section I can just transfer some of what's on my brush when I blend this in and just touch that to make it lighter. There we go. Now I'm going to want to take my dark and just make sure that these legs can't get washed away. There we go. And I'm going to leave the wings lighter because even though I did those with these, I did use less pressure. I want those to stay so that the wings look more translucent. All right, now I'm going to take my brush. It's damp. I don't want it soaking and it's already wet enough. So we're just going to, let's start at the back. And I'm just going to activate these. And now I can come back through. I should have done my segments first. I'm going to have to wait for this to dry to be able to come back through and line my segments if I want to. You know, my segments of the body. And again, I'm going to wait until I get all of the color where I want it to be its maximum saturation. I'm just going to keep building up some of this color in my brush. And then in the areas where the body would be, I'm just going to very lightly, I'm barely touching, coming over and doing the body. So see the body, the color's there and it's the same. It's just a much lighter value because we're seeing it through that translucent wing. Now, the other thing that I want to do is take a little bit of my light wash, and in these other areas, I'm just putting a few little lines because now I can come back in and activate those. Now it just gives, and I'm not worried about if I leave some parts of the paper white and don't cover every bit with this, you know, gray, you know, it's like a pale gray wash coming through these wings. I'm not worried. This is going to look like a highlight if I leave a spot out, which is perfectly fine. There we go. I'm just going to give them a quick dry again. And then I'm going to come back with, I'm going to line out the body a little bit with my dark. And we're going to put some highlights on, maybe with the white from our tinted charcoal. Okay. And this definitely is silver because I mixed it when I mixed up my purplish pink color, more like that mauve. And it has such a shimmer to, I don't know if the camera will pick it up. Yeah, it has a shimmer. You can see it down here. There's like a shimmer to it. It's just, I'm loving it. Loving it. It's like it's just catching the sun. We got little sparkles. Okay, so let's go ahead and just emphasize like segments of his little body. And I don't have to do like every single bit. I can just one side or the other. Make one side, like make the bottom side darker than the other maybe. I got a little heavy on it. It's a little wide there. Usually it gets skinnier as it goes down. But my point is not as sharp as it should be either. Will that erase? That's a great question. Let's see. Grab my Tombow Mono 0. Yes, it does. So our Onyx does erase. It's not water soluble, but it does erase. There we go. That's better. Just a little bit of line, like if the one wing was casting shadow to the wing below. All right. Let's give his eyes a little bit more definition. And there we are. And we can also come in here with a little bit more, put little dots in here. I'm rotating my pencil. Okay. And last but not least, you're going to take some of the white, loading up that brush. And it's not wanting to, come back off my brush the way I want to. My brush wasn't wet enough. Try it one more time. If it doesn't work, I'll try the pencil. Oh, there we go. Much better. Much better. Okay, maybe some highlights on, maybe on a few of our petals. There. So there we go. And you know what I was thinking as I was doing this little project? There's my little dragonfly on my flower. These are perfect size. If you had like coaster molds for doing resin, you could always do a little bit of resin, do some artwork, pop that down in there, and then resin over it, and have yourself a little coaster that is filled with art that you've created. Well, just an idea. But I hope you liked this one. I hope you enjoyed this. It was a build your own sketchbox. I definitely recommend it. Definitely. You can buy past sketchboxes. You can get a subscription to Sketchbox. But I really think that the build your own is one of the best values because you get to choose, it's either 6 or 7 items and to put into your box, and you can choose any items that you want. You can curate a box that's specific to you and your interest. And yeah, I think it's great. I have one more that I have not shared with you guys yet, so I'll have another video with that coming up in the near future. And for now, if you enjoyed this video, please do hit that thumbs up. If you're not yet subscribed, we invite you to join us and click subscribe so that you're notified when more videos come out. Here is one you might like to watch in the meantime. And until next time, my friends, keep creating, and I'll see you in a video real soon.